Welcome, everybody. This is John Paul Dutch, Dr. Speed Selling. This is Raging Verbalist number 205. This one is actually from before, but I was in, the deep, darkest places like San Diego. And, I was a guy who ended up finding out that the timeshare modem crapped out. I mean, what is it? I mean, am I the troubleshooter of the universe or what? Anyway, so we're going to do it now. It's an important topic and all of that. So you can catch me on Facebook. The Facebook group is Position to Win Book. Also, you can catch us on YouTube and all of that. And notifications if you want to get annoyed. Subscribe, hit the like button, and with me as always is the ever lovely Sandra. And Sandra, welcome.
Hello, how are you doing today?
Well, we're doing great. We're trying a new camera. The microphone's driving me crazy, but damn it, we're plowing ahead, right? We're moving
That's
on.
right.
We are undaunted. And the reason for the change, everybody, is that we're trying to see if we can get a better connection from my office and not have some little glitches that happen, which, it's great if you're a Wallet and Grommet fan to have stop action, but we don't want stop action in Raging Verbalist. So, okay, so what are we talking about today, Sandra? What do we got
All
going
right.
on?
All right. So we're talking about copyright laws and AI. So who owns the copyright output from using AI and AI platforms such as ChatGPT?
Now, if you go read the terms of service, and no, I have not done that exhaustively. I know this is not legal advice. This is just the Raging Verbalist raging, is that it appears that once you put something into chat, it kind of gets combined with everything else that's out there. So if you go and take, I don't know, your great American novel and you shove it in there, chat might take it and say, oh, that's a scrumptious little bit. So there is not really well decided on who owns that copyright of the data that you put in there. But more importantly, if you take something from Chat GPT, there's a whole big bunch of issues that are going to crop up. And I figure it's going to probably take normally 3, 5, 7 years. So tread lightly, especially if you're using it to do whatever you're going to do. So just don't think that you own this just because chat and you are having an intimate conversation like, hey, how are you doing today? I'm feeling pretty good. So don't do all of that.
All right. And have copyright protections been challenged before in a significant way?
They sure have. In fact, when I was, I've always been curious, love to read, go to the Denver Public Library, and they had installed these amazing machines called Xerox copy machines. And they had a coin box next to it. So you could make copies of anything in any book. And it was considered fair use because you were, going to do, research or what have you. So that actually ended up being a lawsuit that got settled because it was like fair use and they're not copying the whole book and they're not doing this or doing that. So it's been going on for quite some time. I can tell you that there were a lot of people who I knew who were going out and copying whole sections and then transcribing them. That's the good old days, clay tablets, chipping it into stone or something, but would actually use passages and try to pass them off as this is my work, which it wasn't their work.
And what's your take on authors, bloggers, and content creators using AI?
Well, we're all trying to feed the monster, and once you start using AI, once you get that addiction, you get that first hit and you get a little bit of a high off of it and you go, well, that sounds pretty darn good. And I like what it's saying. And well, it kind of sounds like me or close enough to me. And people start using it. And I think that we're going to see, because of the monster of content, which is what the internet is all about, is that you're going to see more and more and more people using AI, and they're going to use it to generate content and having discussions every day, not only inside of companies that I'm involved in, but clients, and also people who are writing books. And absolutely, I think my opinion is that we're all going to end up using it, and we're probably going to have to get over the fact that we just got to see if people are going to abuse it.
And didn't Sports Illustrated get in trouble for that recently?
Funny thing is that Sports Illustrated, the magazine, got busted recently that they were having articles that were written by, Sam Smith and, Sherry Jones and all of this stuff who don't exist because they were AI generated articles. Now they've had to come clean on that. They got busted at it. I think that there's probably a lot of people who are actually doing that, and nobody wants to admit it. So yes, I think that we're going to see more of it. You have to make your own decision. One of my challenges always of using ghostwriters. I did that a couple times. I paid a bunch of money to people who were going to ghost for me, and we would work together. The only problem with it is that they didn't sound like me. I have a distinct style, and I wasn't happy. In fact, I had a book that was all done, ready to go to publishing, had an agent, had all that stuff, and I made the cardinal mistake. Delayed me like by 10 years of getting a book out, by the way. Made a cardinal mistake is that I actually read the book cover to cover while I was on an airplane. And geez, I said, this doesn't sound like me at all. And I killed it. I mean, I still have it. Maybe now in today's world, I'll shove it through, an AI model and see if I can make it, sound more like me. Can you get a little bit more of that grit and that edge? Maybe we can do that at some point in time.
All right. And is there an easy test to know that content wasn't generated by AI?
Well, one of my favorite provocateurs is a guy named Rory Sutherland, and no, I've never met him, but he works in big advertising like Ogilvy, and I don't know if he's still there, but he said that the easiest way to tell if it's AI generated or not is by including in all your correspondence a variety of swear words. So if you say swear words, and all of those things, if you're not familiar with what words you shouldn't say, I would refer you to going and watching the comedy routine from George Carlin, which is the 7 words you can't say on television. And by the way, there turns out there's more than that. However, but if you take those words and you put those in there, then people will know that if you put in, and then that MFer did this shit to me, probably AI did not generate that because AI is on the prim and proper. So I guess we're gonna, for all of us who are fans of the Coen brothers and Quentin Tarantino and other swearers of note, that we should probably build a model for those guys so that way we can have it show up like that. Now, talking about building a model, talking about doing something, well, and with my new camera, it may be hard to see, but okay, because we don't have the background. You may have noticed the background's working. So we'll figure out how to get it in here. Hang on a second. Anyway, most businesses fail in the first 5 minutes. It just takes them 3 to 5 years to realize it. It is truer today than ever before, especially with AI. And in fact, we're looking at working on AI stuff right now. But go check out the book, and it's available at positiontowinbook.com, positiontowinbook.com, and you can get a physical copy directly from me, and I'll sign it and put an inscription, and we'll do that. And I promise that it will not be AI generated signature. So there you go. Also, you can go to Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Amazon, and buy the physical copy. You can buy digital copies. That would be Kindle and Nook and Apple iBooks, and you can go pick it up. And I believe that most businesses absolutely do fail in the first 5 minutes. And then also we have another book out, just Kindle only, which is Remote Work for a Better World. So if you want to know how to do things remotely in a better way, go check that out. And then, of course, the ubiquitous merch. There's the mug. It's amazing. It was designed by none other than Sandra, and I use it every day to get inspiration and being pissed off enough to do another Raging Verbalist. And that's how you know that this was an AI generated, because it doesn't even say pissed off. It would probably just say urination from afar.
There you go. All right. With that, have you heard that Amazon is limiting how many self-published books you can do per day?
So the entire excitement of using AI to write, and if you've not experienced it, I would suggest that you get with the program and get moving along. But all I can tell you is that people are just going nuts with this, and they are limiting the number of books you can publish a day. In fact, it used to be higher. They don't actually say an exact number, but according to sources like The Guardian, it's 3 books a day. And that's because there are people out there pounding away at keyboards. It used to be the joke was 10,000 monkeys with typewriters could write Shakespeare. Well, I think now it's, somebody in their mom's basement with a, giant Mountain Dew, extra caffeine, and a bunch of M&Ms can write about 3 books a day. And that's what they're limiting people to do. So yes, Amazon is doing that. They're trying to stem the onslaught, the destructive power potentially of AI. And what I would call it is kind of a dilution factor, because most of these are probably going to be pretty middle of the road, pretty mediocre. So yes, I have heard about that, and it's a thing, and it's going to keep going and growing and moving along.
And how do you see copyright truly protecting works that are out there?
So what we did with the book, Gabe Batista, my co-conspirator, co-author, and business partner, is that we went and we sent this book into the Library of Congress for copyright protection. Now, once you have that copyright protection, it is not like you have somebody who puts up the ramparts, and you've got machine gun nests, and you can fire down on those masses that are trying to steal your copyright. But what it does is at least puts the world on notice that you're serious about your copyright. But you have to pay money to register your book. I did that. We didn't register the second book. Probably should think about doing that. But right now it's going to be tough, because copywritten material, especially in this global world, and how much we can inhale data and pull it in, and then building the models the way we're going to do it, we're going to see a massive realignment over the next 3, 5, 10 years. It's going to be a change that we wouldn't even have dreamed of just a few years ago.
And what constitutes a book, short story, novella, or pamphlet?
Well, I think that's a good question, because some of these things that are called books on Amazon are pamphlets. So we went out, and our crack team did research and went out there and found this out for each of you. So a pamphlet is considered somewhere between 7,500 to 10,000 words. So if you want to go out and write a pamphlet, that's your target. That's what you got to do. And by the way, if you don't know how to do word count, well, yeah, okay, it's in every document word processor, whatever you're going to do. If you want to do a novel, novels can be from 55,000 to 300,000 words. I don't know if that takes into account guys like Stephen King, who writes these monster books or something. And then novellas, which are kind of that medium. That's the middle child, right? The middle child always kind of gets left to the side of the road. Well, it's the middle child. Hey, we loved the first one, took all the pictures. Middle child, we didn't do that. The baby of the family, well, that was the surprise. Geez, that was a wild weekend. We thought it wasn't going to happen, but boop, here they are. By the way, I was the youngest of my family. So, and then of course there is a certain amount of, attention you get for that. So, but the novella is the in between. That's the medium child and middle child. So that's 30 to 50,000 words, and then a short story is anywhere from 1,500 to 30,000 words. I was always interested in how many people would write a short story, and I guess they just ran out of an idea. And then a book is 80 to 100,000 words. I'm always interested in that count, because when you go out and you start writing and you're trying to figure this out, nobody gives you the numbers. So we just gave you the numbers, and hopefully what that does is it gives you an idea of what you're going to shoot for. If you have something to say it. No better time than now to do it. Forget about the competition, get it done, because you always wanted to do it. I always wanted to do a book, and held it off too long. So there you go.
All right. And are these new standards, or has this been going on for some time?
Interestingly enough, it's been going on forever. Charles Dickens, the famous Charles Dickens, and I went to a very unique school growing up. I always kind of call it a Montessori on crack kind of thing. And we decided that we were going to be smarter, because we were the smart ones, smart kids, that we were going to read a book a week, which that turned out to be a big freaking mistake. And the reason for it is that when you're at high school level, reading a book a week, you got a lot of other stuff going on, competing in your head, all that stuff. Anyway, what we discovered is that we never wanted to read a Charles Dickens book ever. Went down and looked at the Dickens stuff, because that was the classic stuff. And it wasn't until I was reading a biography is that Dickens got paid by the word. And so he would figure out how many words he needed to write because they were never published as books originally. They were published in magazines as a serial. So that meant that every week or month or whenever that serial was being published, so many words would go in it, and that would be how they would pay him. So if he wrote 3,000 words, he'd get 3,000 words times however much he got paid per word, and that was how much he got paid. So this thing has been going on for a long time, and it's something to think about when you're putting together whatever you're putting together. Maybe you only have enough to say that it's going to be a short story. Well, be happy with it. But yes, it has been going on for a long time. The postscript of that story is that we got smart because we had made this goal, because this is where I always talk about when you're going to do I'm going to go out there and say, this is my New Year's resolution, or this is what I'm going to put my stake in the ground, and be careful what you wish for because you might just get it. We said we're going to do a book a week. And, this was one of those, lots of pressure. Everybody's going to do that. So myself and, another student, she and I went down to the Denver Public Library and we said, is there a book which tells us how many books are short books? And the woman said, what are you guys talking about? And we told her what it was. She laughed. She's a librarian. She was very cool. And then she started picking books out that we could read that were short. So we read The Old Man and the Sea, which was actually considered a novella. We read The Graduate. Yes, they made a movie out of it, but we read that. And so we just started picking, let's find a short one. Let's find a fast one because, we signed up for this thing. So yes, it's been going on for a long time.
All right. And if someone wants to write a book, what would you recommend to get it done?
I don't think you can fight the tide. I think you should learn how to become very proficient with AI. I think you should make sure that it always shows you what you've put in and what AI is doing and how AI is going to affect your writing style. If you have that problem where and I see this all the time with clients, they say, John, I've got a million stories. Sandra has suffered through some of these, meetings with me with clients. I've got a million stories, and they start to tell a story and the story it peters out. So if you're that case, use AI, get your stuff done, get ideas out of your head, but never kid yourself. Always know what is your stuff, what is your material, what are your things, so that way you can feel authentic and good about it and not just say, well, it was all just generated by AI. And with that, I want to just point out to you that everybody's going to use AI. Every business is going to be in the AI business, whether you want to believe it or not. We'll be talking more about that in the future in 24. But you really better get on this bandwagon because this bandwagon is there. The train is leaving, train is going. However, do not feel like you have missed it because these are still early days. All the gee whiz, the wow, I can't believe it, holy fucking shit kind of things going on. That's how you know I'm not AI. Is that we're going to see that everything is going to go to some level to AI. And with that, I just want to thank you for joining us. I'm John Palmaducci, Dr. Speed Selling. And for myself and the ever lovely Sandra, this has been Raging Verbalist number 205, and we'll see you on the next Raging Verbalist.